Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Lalema Aneja Dang, and with me is Rupinder Kaur Chawla with the Midday News. The headlines. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says Armed Forces Tribunal will boost disposal of cases which are continuously increasing in courts. Over 1 lakh villages declared as ODF plus, says Jal Shakti Ministry. Sovereign Gold Bond Scheme 2022-23 Series 2 to open for subscription from Monday. Heavy rains lashed several parts of North India, affecting normal life. International Monetary Fund's team to visit Colombo next week to discuss economic and financial reforms with Sri Lankan authorities. In cricket, second ODI between India and Zimbabwe underway at Harare. And in Durand Cup football, Chennaiyin FC will take on Army Red at 3 p.m. in Imphal, while ATK Mohan Bagan play Rajasthan United in Kolkata at 6 p.m. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today said Armed Forces Tribunal will boost in disposal of cases which are continuously increasing in courts. Addressing the national seminar on introspection, Armed Forces Tribunal organized by the Armed Forces Tribunal Principal Bench Bar Association in New Delhi, Mr. Singh said disposal of cases have become time-consuming. He said it is commendable that the Armed Forces Tribunal is introspecting on important issues during Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The minister pointed out that domain-specific tribunals are being envisaged, and these specialized tribunals will be able to dispose cases speedily. He said judiciary is a strong pillar of democracy, but the foundation of the judiciary is less discussed. He added that the foundation of judiciary is the lawyer community on whom people from all walks of life have placed their trust. Law Minister Kiren Rijiju was also present on the occasion. Swachh Bharat Mission Grameen SBMG, the flagship program of the Government of India, has recorded another milestone of over 1 lakh villages declaring themselves as ODF, that is Open Defecation Free Plus. The Jal Shakti Ministry said these villages are sustaining their ODF status and have systems in place for managing solid and liquid waste. They are also working towards making their villages cleaner, greener and healthier. The top 5 performing states are Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh and Himachal Pradesh, where maximum number of villages have been declared as ODF+. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had launched the Swachh Bharat mission almost 8 years ago with a vision to make the country open defecation free. Following this, the country came together in the world's largest behavior change campaign and achieved its aim 11 years ahead of the Sustainable Development Goals or SDG 6 targets set by the United Nations. However, this was not the end of the mission. It laid the foundation to take on a much more challenging yet necessary task, the need to ensure complete cleanliness to make the country's villages ODF+. 1 lakh ODF plus villages is no small achievement, given that the process of solid and liquid waste management is technical in nature, is relatively new to rural India and is a second-generation issue. The ministry said Swachh Bharat Mission Grameen reinforces the government's commitment to promote hygiene and safe sanitation and thereby improve the quality of life of its citizens.
Reserve Bank of India's study report, Governance, Efficiency and Soundness of Indian Banks, says that although banks in India have made significant progress in adhering to governance standards over the recent years, the current level of compliance is not adequate to mark the existing governance structure as socially efficient. It suggests that to avoid the risk of bank failure in the long run, business practices that assure sustainable profits with proportionate risk need to be encouraged. Report is based on the analysis corporate governance information available in the individual bank's annual report for the period from 2008-9 to 2017-18. It also says that the Indian banking industry remained reasonably sound from 2008-9 to 2012-13 before the early signs of a decline in asset quality and profitability were observed in 2013-14. In recent years, private banks have by and large shown an improvement in the soundness position. However, a low level of soundness remains a challenge for public sector banks, PSBs, because the above trend was more pervasive for PSBs. It also notes that noticeable asymmetries exist in the policy prioritize of banks on the dimensions of governance and soundness. Private banks demonstrated relatively better performance in adhering to governance norms pertaining to audit function, followed by risk management and board effectiveness during the study period. Sovereign Gold Bonds 2022-23 Series 2 will be opened for subscription from Monday. It will continue till Friday. Finance Ministry said the issue price of the bond during the subscription period will be 5,197 rupees per gram. Government, in consultation with the Reserve Bank of India, has decided to allow discount of 50 rupees per gram from the issue price to those investors who apply online and the payment is made through digital mode.
The Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, has lodged an FIR against Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish Sisodia, in the alleged violations of rules and procedural lapses in the new liquor policy. 14 other persons, including excise officials, liquor company executives, unknown public servants and private persons, have also been named in the FIR. Delhi Lieutenant Governor V.K. Saxena had recommended a CBI probe over alleged violation of rules and procedural lapses in the policy. During the search operation, Mr. Sisodia said he will give full cooperation in the investigation so that truth can come out soon. He said till now many cases have been filed against him, but nothing came out. Over 209 crore 40 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. Over 13 lakh 15,000 vaccine doses have been administered to the beneficiaries in the last 24 hours. During the same period, over 13,000 new COVID cases were recorded. Currently, India's active caseload stands at over 1,01,000 and the recovery rate is at 98.58%. The Health Ministry said around 14,000 COVID patients recovered in the last 24 hours.
In Jammu and Kashmir, 2 children were killed when a mud house collapsed due to landslides in Samole village in Muttal area of Tikri block in Udhampur district last night. AIR Jammu correspondent reports the district administration has confirmed the incident and informed that rescue teams were rushed to the spot and recovered the bodies from the debris of the collapsed house. In Rajasthan, 4 people were killed and over 24 injured in a road accident in Sumerpur town of Pali district last night. The incident occurred when a tractor trolley and truck rammed into each other. The injured have been admitted to Sirohi and Sumerpur hospitals. The injured and deceased were on the way to Ramdevara temple in Rajasthan from Banaskantha district of Gujarat. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has offered condolence over the loss of lives in the accident. Mr. Dhankar said he is anguished by the loss of lives in the accident. He prayed for the speedy recovery of the injured. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has described the accident in Pali, Rajasthan as saddening. Mr. Modi said his thoughts are with the bereaved families in this hour of grief. He also prayed for a speedy recovery of those injured.
The 17th Pravasi Bharatiya Divas 2023 will be held in Indore in January next year. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi in a tweet informed that Secretary Consular, Passport and Visa Division Ausaf Saeed and Chief Secretary of Madhya Pradesh Iqbal Singh Bains signed a memorandum of understanding for hosting the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas. On the occasion, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan was also present. Pravasi Bharatiya Divas is celebrated every year on the 9th of January to mark the contribution of overseas Indian community in the development of India. It also commemorates the return of Mahatma Gandhi from South Africa to India on the 9th of January 1915. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh paid glowing tributes to Indian National Army INA veteran Major Ishwar Lal Singh at a memorial service held in New Delhi yesterday. After laying a wreath at the urn containing ashes of Major Ishwar Lal Singh, Mr. Singh fondly recalled his meeting with the INA veteran about 3 years ago in Singapore. He said, India will not forget the sacrifices made by the soldiers of the Indian National Army and its leader, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Major Ishwar Lal Singh, a 92-year-old Singaporean veteran of the Indian National Army, served under the leadership of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. He passed away on the 5th of this month.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says Armed Forces Tribunal will boost disposal of cases which are continuously increasing in courts. Over 1 lakh villages declared as ODF plus, says Jal Shakti Ministry. Sovereign Gold Bond Scheme 2022-23 Series 2 to open for subscription from Monday. Heavy rains lashed several parts of North India, affecting normal life. International Monetary Fund's team to visit Colombo next week to discuss economic and financial reforms with Sri Lankan authorities. In cricket, second ODI between India and Zimbabwe underway at Harare. And in Durant Cup football, Chennaiyin FC will take on Army Red at 3 p.m. in Imphal, while ATK Mohan Bagan play Rajasthan United in Kolkata at 6 p.m. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
मुट्ठी भर अंग्रेज और हमारे विशाल देश पर राज करने का स्वप्न देखते हैं, पर हम इनके स्वप्न को चकनाचूर कर देंगे।
निकल पड़े स्वाधीनता के पथ वाले, स्वतंत्रता संग्राम की सुनी अनसुनी कहानियों के साथ स्वराज हर रविवार रात 9 बजे डीडी नेशनल पर।
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur today questioned the Delhi government's new excise policy, alleging nexus between liquor companies and the AAP government. Briefing media on CBI raids against Mr. Sisodia over irregularities in the excise policy, Mr. Thakur sought to know why the new excise policy was taken back if no corruption had occurred. He also questioned why blacklisted companies were given tenders and 144 crore rupees were allegedly returned to the liquor mafia. He stated that Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia have no answers to these questions. He alleged that the number one accused of liquor scam is Mr. Sisodia, but the kingpin is Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. Meanwhile, Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia claimed that the excise policy was implemented with complete transparency and there was no scam. Briefing media, Mr. Sisodia alleged that BJP is not concerned about liquor scam, but their worry is the rising stature of Mr. Kejriwal in the national politics. He stated that 2024 Lok Sabha polls will be a fight between AAP versus BJP. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, security forces have arrested 2 more hybrid terrorists at Handwara in North Kashmir's Kupwara district. According to the Jammu and Kashmir Police, joint parties of police, Army's 21 Rashtriya Rifles and CRPF 92 Battalion had arrested 3 hybrid terrorists in Handwara earlier this month and recovered arms and ammunition from their possession. Accordingly, a case under relevant sections of law was registered at Police Station Handwara and investigation was initiated. However, based on leads developed during the further course of investigation, the role of 2 more individuals emerged in the conspiracy to carry out terrorist acts. Subsequently, both the accused were arrested by joint team of security forces. On their disclosure, arms and ammunition, including 2 pistols, 4 pistol magazines, 58 pistol rounds and 6 grenades were recovered from their possession.
International Monetary Fund's team will visit Colombo next week to continue discussions with the Sri Lankan authorities on economic and financial reforms. The team will be in Colombo from 24th to 31st of this month. In a statement, IMF said the objective is to make progress towards reaching an agreement on a prospective IMF Extended Fund Facility EFF arrangement in the near term. It said Sri Lanka's public debt is assessed as unsustainable. It said approval by the IMF Executive Board of the EFF program would require adequate assurances by Sri Lanka's creditors that debt sustainability will be restored. IMF team would also continue the engagement with other stakeholders during the visit. The team will be led by Mr. Peter Briar and Mr. Masahiro Nozaki. The island nation defaulted on its $51 billion foreign debt in April this year. Sri Lanka is continuously seeking help from International Monetary Fund and other nations. The country of 22 million people is facing its most severe financial crisis since independence in 1948, resulting from the combined impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and economic mismanagement. The foreign debt crisis has led to foreign exchange crisis, resulting in shortage of essential items like food, fuel and medicine. Sri Lanka's crisis has led to massive protests in the country in the recent months. The 16th Foreign Office consultations between India and Singapore were held in Singapore yesterday. The consultations were co-chaired by Secretary East in Ministry of External Affairs, Saurabh Kumar. The two sides reviewed the entire gamut of bilateral relations and expressed satisfaction at the present level of engagements. Both sides emphasized the importance of bilateral political exchanges to realize the full potential of the partnership. The delegations also discussed enhancing cooperation in a number of areas including trade and investment, startups and innovation, fintech, smart cities, infrastructure, skill development and connectivity. Defense cooperation between both countries was also reviewed. The two sides noted the increase in tourist arrivals from India in recent months and the need to further facilitate travel. Given that Singapore is the current country coordinator for India in ASEAN, the two sides exchanged views on India-ASEAN engagements and raising of the relationship to a higher level. Views were also exchanged on regional and international issues of mutual interest. The two sides reiterated their firm commitment to work towards further strengthening of India-Singapore multifaceted relations and deepening of the strategic partnership.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tributes to former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi on his birth anniversary today. In a tweet, the Prime Minister said, on his birth anniversary, tributes to our former Prime Minister Shri Rajiv Gandhi. Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio is celebrating 75 years of freedom with a series, Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio.
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ स्वतंत्रता के 75 वर्ष का उत्सव, जीवंत यात्रा की स्मृतियां, स्वतंत्र भारत की उपलब्धियां और कुछ रोमांचक पल। तो आप भी जुड़िए और सुनना न भूलें 15 अगस्त से प्रतिदिन हमारे FM गोल्ड 100.1 और दूसरे चैनलों पर आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ।
Well, in today's episode, we bring you the story of the Iron Man of India, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
As the first Home Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, Sardar Patel played the key role in the integration of the 565 princely states into the Indian Federation. Even today, he is remembered as the man who united India. Mahatma Gandhi had said to Patel that the problem of integration of the states is so difficult that he alone can solve it. Patel was considered a statesman of integrity with a practical acumen and resolve to accomplish a monumental task.
छोटे छोटे जो वाड़े हैं उससे बहुत नुकसान होता है और जिस चीज से मुल्क को फायदा नहीं होता है इस चीज से आकर हमको खुद को भी नुकसान होता है। वो चीज हमें समझ के हमें जो हिंदुस्तान आज सदियों के बाद एक हुआ है और एक मौका मिला है और एक अवसर हमारे पास आया है वो गंवाना नहीं चाहिए।
He invoked the patriotism of India's monarchs, asking them to join in the independence of the nation and act as responsible rulers who cared about the future of the people. While encouraging the rulers to act out of patriotism, he did not rule out force. He persuaded almost every princely state to accede to India.
जब सार्वभौम सत्ता हिंदुस्तान में से अपना बिस्तरा लपेट के चली और जब उसने ऐलान किया कि इधर पैरामाउंट से खत्म होती है, उस समय पर मुल्क में क्या होगा और मुल्क एक रहेगा या तो उसका टुकड़ा टुकड़ा हो जाएगा, उस बारे में बहुत लोगों का अलग अलग ख्याल था। और बहुत लोग चिंता में गिरे थे, लेकिन जो राजा महाराजाओं थे उसमें से बहुतों ने काफी स्वदेशाभिमान बताया और भारत की सरकार को साथ दिया। उसके लिए मैं आज इन लोगों को धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं।
Sardar Patel is also remembered as the patron saint of India's civil servants for having established the modern All India services system.
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ can be accessed on Twitter at AIR News Alerts, at our YouTube channel News on AIR Official, News on AIR app, Facebook and Instagram handles. So, tune into All India Radio News for Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashvani ke saath. At least 2 devotees died in a stampede at Banke Bihari Temple in Mathura district of Uttar Pradesh. Abhishek Yadav, the senior superintendent of police, said that the incident took place during Mangla Aarti, which happens early in the morning. A lot of people had gathered inside and outside the temple to attend the Aarti. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has expressed grief over the demise of the 2 devotees. He has directed district administration officials to provide proper treatment to the injured and said that more stringent arrangements should be made at such places.
Union Home Minister Amit Shah today reached JPNA Trauma Center, AIIMS, New Delhi, to inquire about the health of the 3 injured ITBP Jawans who were admitted there after being shifted from Srinagar yesterday through special air ambulances. The Home Minister was briefed by the doctors about the health condition of the Jawans and future medical procedures being followed. Senior officials of ITBP also briefed Mr. Shah about the health condition of the injured. The Home Minister wished the injured personnel speedy recovery. They were injured in a bus accident near Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir on 16th of this month. 7 Jawans lost their lives while 32 were injured in the accident. Several parts of North India are affected by heavy rain. In Mandi district of Himachal Pradesh, 8 people were trapped inside the house in a landslide incident at Kashan village of Gohar subdivision. The district administration, in collaboration with NDRF, is carrying out the rescue operation. In another incident of cloudburst at Bagi Nalla near Mandi Katola Parasar Road, 6 people of the same family were swept away by flash flood. 1 body has been recovered by the rescue team so far. Search and rescue operation for other missing people is still going on. All the major rivers of the state are in spate. Several circuit roads, including some national highways, have also been blocked at various places due to landslide triggered by heavy rain. All schools and Anganwadi centers of Mandi, Kullu and Chamba districts of the state are closed following heavy rain. In Kangra district, the Chakki railway bridge connecting Pathankot and Himachal has also collapsed due to flash flood at Chakki Khad. However, the railways had already stopped the movement of trains on this bridge. The State Meteorological Department has also given an orange alert of heavy to very heavy rainfall at isolated places over plains, low and mid-hills today. Chief Minister Jairam Thakur has said relief and rescue operations are being carried out on a war footing in the respective areas. He assured all possible help to the affected families. BJP National President Jagat Prakash Nadda has expressed grief over the loss of life and property due to heavy rain in the state.
Normal life has been affected in Dehradun, Tehri and Bageshwar districts of Uttarakhand due to incessant torrential rainfall since yesterday. 3 people have been reported dead in the calamity. A cloudburst has caused huge destruction in Sarkhet village of Raipur in Dehradun district, where the SDRF has been running rescue operations since late night. SDRF has rescued more than 40 people from the area. Meanwhile, due to the rise in water level of the Song River, the bridge connecting 12 villages was also washed away in the strong current of the river. Incessant rains in Tehri district have blocked the Badrinath National Highway at Tota Ghati, Tindhara and other places. Along with this, the road leading to Narendra Nagar of Tehri is also closed due to landslides at many places. Meanwhile, Kapkot motorway in Bageshwar is blocked due to heavy landslide near Are. The administration is busy in opening the blocked roads. Ration, utensils, milk, beddings, clothes, stretchers and other relief materials are being sent to the affected areas. The critically injured are being airlifted by helicopter. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami inspected the affected areas where a cloudburst incident was reported last night in Sarkhet village in Raipur block of Dehradun district. The Chief Minister said that the administration and SDRF teams are continuously making relief, rescue and other arrangements in the disaster-affected areas.
बरसाती नदियां हैं, नाले हैं, पूरे उफान पर हैं। अतिवृष्टि के कारण से काफी नुकसान भी हुआ है, जहां पर काफी घरों में मलबा घुस गया है, पानी घुस गया है, कुछ घर टूट भी गए हैं और साथ में कई सारे पुलों को और संपर्क मार्गों को बहुत नुकसान हुआ है। कटाव भी हो गया है और संपर्क मार्ग भी टूट गए हैं। तो हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी जो है हमारा पूरा प्रशासन लगकर जो संपर्क मार्ग हैं, जो पुल हैं, उनके वैकल्पिक मार्ग बनाए जाए और आवागमन जो है सामान्य किया जाए और जो बचाव और राहत के कार्य हैं वो तेजी से किए जाएं। उसके लिए हम सभी से संपर्क कर रहे हैं।
The Chief Minister has appealed to tourists to stop their travel for a while in view of heavy rain.
पर्यटक काफी यहाँ पर आए हुए हैं। मैं सभी से अभी अनुरोध कर रहा हूँ, एक अपील भी कर रहा हूँ कि जो लोग भी यात्रा पर हैं वो अभी अपनी यात्रा रोक दें, क्योंकि मौसम का अलर्ट है और भारी वर्षा की चेतावनी है। ऐसे समय में यात्रा करना उनके लिए ठीक नहीं रहेगा और उनकी जान माल की सुरक्षा के लिए, उनकी सुरक्षा के लिए, क्योंकि हम चाहते हैं कि सभी की यात्रा सुरक्षित रहे।
Mr. Dhami said that the MLAs are monitoring the situation in their respective areas and are in touch with the army. He said that if the need for helicopters would arise, then help would also be taken from the army.
The upward movement of pilgrims to Vaishno Devi Shrine in Riyasi district of Jammu and Kashmir was temporarily suspended via new track last evening due to flash floods caused by heavy rain. Our Jammu correspondent reports the base camp was battered by torrential rain for many hours in the evening, leading the authorities to delay the Yatra till 5 a.m. today. The Shrine Board has given priority to the Yatris coming down from the Bhavan area. They are coming under close watch of Shrine Board staff, police and CRPF.
Several parts of Odisha recorded heavy to very heavy rainfall under the influence of deep depression in the past 24 hours. As per India Met Department, IMD's regional centre in Bhubaneswar, 2 stations in the state recorded extremely heavy rainfall in the past 24 hours.
In Durand Cup football, 2 matches are scheduled for today. In the first match, Chennaiyin FC will be up against Army Red in Imphal's Khuman Lampak Stadium at 3 p.m. Later in the day, it will be ATK Mohan Bagan versus Rajasthan United at Kolkata's BYBK Stadium at 6 p.m. Yesterday, Kerala Blasters and Sudeva Delhi settled for 1 point each after the match ended in a draw with both sides scoring 1 goal each. In the second match of the day in Guwahati, only first 45 minutes of the match were little action-packed, followed by average play from both sides. Earlier defending champions FC Goa defeated Indian Air Force 1-0 in the first match of the day at Kolkata's KBK Stadium. For Goa, youngster Mohammad Nemil scored the solitary goal. It was Nemil's second goal in this tournament. The 20-year-old has now scored 6 goals in 8 matches overall. In cricket, Zimbabwe was 71 for 4 in 20.3 overs against India in the second one-day international in Harare when reports last came in. Earlier, the visitors won the toss and elected to field. India had won the first ODI by 10 wickets to take a 1-0 lead in the 3-match series.
Now let's take a look at the weather forecast for the day. Well, the national capital Delhi is expected to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Mumbai too is expected to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. And same for Chennai, which is expected to have light rain or drizzle. Kolkata again generally cloudy sky with heavy rain. And now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says Armed Forces Tribunal will boost disposal of cases which are continuously increasing in courts. Over 1 lakh villages declared as ODF plus, says the Jal Shakti Ministry. Sovereign Gold Bond Scheme 2022-23 Series 2 to open for subscription from Monday. Heavy rain slashed several parts of North India affecting normal life. International Monetary Fund's team to visit Colombo next week to discuss economic and financial reforms with Sri Lankan authorities. In cricket, second ODI between India and Zimbabwe underway at Harare. And in Durand Cup football, Chennai FC will take on Army Red at 3 p.m. in Imphal, while ATK Mohan Bagan play Rajasthan United in Kolkata at 6 p.m. And with that, we end the midday news.